All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim B'cha HaKodash. Daban is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Good Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this Thursday Live, I wanted to get into a few videos here concerning the surveillance state here in America and how pretty much the system that you see over in China today will be here in America, and it will be amplified to another level. Now, I want to start a lesson off here with the definition of the word surveillance. And I have the Etamon Online dictionary pulled up here. So the word is surveillance, and now 1802, oversight, supervision, watch, spying. Okay, and I wanted to highlight this portion here, watch, spying, because that's exactly what these Edomites are going to be doing to the American public, to the Western world, all the world. Okay, it's all tied in together. But I'm focusing in here on America because this is the so-called land of the free and home of the brave, so to speak, right? And these Americans, they swear up and down that they're free. Nobody is over them. You know, the whole American verbiage, right, that they spew. But we're heading into times, man, to where you would have no privacy. Okay, you have none now, right? But especially when these flock cameras and different AI model cameras are put right in your face, okay? To where when you step out of your door in the morning or whenever, you will be tracked and traced. Facial recognition, they're going to know who you are immediately, right? And I'm going to show you in these clips, bro. Bro, this is a serious thing. And this is something that the apostles, the elders, and brothers have been talking about for some time now. How we will pretty much be living in a surveillance state. But it's a surveillance world. Nobody's getting around this shit, bro. And what's gonna really tie all this in, the MOTB, that's gonna really tie it all in, right? But reading on here, it says oversight, supervision, a watch. So the word pretty much means to watch over, right? And they want to watch over the world. Okay. So the first video that I want to deal with is from the Jimmy Dore show, and it says surveillance state newest terror weapon, autonomous police drones. So the police here in America, right? Some of them, but eventually all of them, will have access to autonomous drones. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know I like to bring up Larry Ellison concerning this topic here, right? With drones and autonomous drones. Because he spoke about them back in 2024. And when he did, I spoke on it, right? But I'll play the video again because I love playing it here and there, you know, just as a reminder. But I want to let her say a few words here concerning these autonomous police drones and how pretty much there would be no more privacy or peace here in the Western world, right? Especially here in America. But here we go.
These things are not going to be used to keep you safe. They're not going to be used to keep your community safe. We all know that. This is the surveillance state. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Jimmy Dore Show. I am your guest host for today, Misty Winston. And we're going to move now to talking about something else that is really terrifying. And that is the new autonomous police drones. Not new, but there's a big push for this right now. And I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about this aspect of it either. It's a terrifying, another terrifying aspect of the surveillance state that is very quickly being forced upon us. So this is from Futurism, if you want to go check this article out for yourself. So there's a new hot phrase bouncing around police departments across the United States: drone as first responder. That phrase gives me the chills. Like, that's a crazy drone as first responder. Hard pass.
Right. Can you imagine a situation happening, a shooting or a car accident, any kind of, situation take place, and you call the police, right? And the first thing to show up is a damn drone, in which the drone probably can communicate with you. They could very well put, some kind of a device there, right, that can communicate back and forth with you from the sky. Who knows, bro? But a damn drone showing up, bro, is going to be hella weird, okay, as a first responder. And I get it, because it can get there fast, ain't no traffic, for the drone and whatnot, but what the hell are they going to do? I guess, just get them a visual of what's going on and how to whatever. But it's going to be weird as hell seeing it. I was out the other day and I saw a drone. I was like, damn. I saw it, but I wasn't like really just paying attention to it. But I'm like, that's a drone, bro. I think it was a Walmart drone, because it was kind of huge, and over there flying over the neighborhood. It's crazy, bro. But this is where the world is coming to, bro. Drone as first responder, right? Here we go.
Pass. Okay, so from small town Indiana to New York City, cops around the country are embracing autonomous surveillance drones as the latest innovation in policing. While you might hear about the occasional puppy found in the woods with a police drone, those feel-good stories provide excellent cover for their true purposes: gathering intelligence on peaceful protests, surveilling minority communities, and intimidating activists. We all know. Though drone as first responder initiatives may not yet inspire the same knee-jerk opposition as flock, surveillance towers, and data centers, fury is clearly growing as more and more Americans are taking a stand against police drones. In Minneapolis, residents are speaking out against the city police department's plan to partner with Skydio, a private defense contractor that primarily manufactures drones for military forces. Concerned citizens packed a city council meeting to discuss the initiative on Wednesday, filling both the main council hall and a backup overflow room, CBS reported. That gives me great hope. The idea that many people showed up to a city council meeting to talk about this gives me hope. People are paying attention. So at the meeting, over 40 residents took the mic to explain that they don't want Skydio drones, or any drones for that matter, in the Twin Cities. Quote, the deployment of autonomous surveillance drones rests on the presumption that the regular people unto themselves are existential threats, end quote, one speaker claimed, according to local station Fox 9. Quote, but if you accept and normalize that idea that every single person could be an existential threat, then you have already stripped your own residents of any inkling of humanity, end quote. The speaker continued, highlighting the fact that Minneapolis has a particularly grim history of police violence against Black people. Quote, we need respect for our individuals and shared humanity, they told city council members. More relational work on the ground, not remote drones in the air, end quote. That movement in Minneapolis seems to be growing following weeks of organizing by local activists.
Well, you people can meet and have your councils, okay? Do what you do. But you're not going to stop prophecy. Ultimately, this is the plan of the Most High, okay? It's to bring in this surveillance state, right? Because it's going to tie into the MOTB. But as Esau is going to tell you, that is unimpeachable, right? You can protest, you can, do what you do, but these devils are still going to move forward with their plans. Why? Because They got prophecy to fulfill. In their mind, they thinking that, oh, this is gonna, really give us the power that we need. No, it's prophecy. That's all. And they just been chosen to play these roles. But once again, for the umpteenth time, let's listen to Larry Ellison. He's going to tell you about these autonomous drones, right? That will be used, man. Here we go.
Will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars.
You see that? It's unimpeachable. You're going to be on your best behavior because they're going to be watching you 24/7, as I said earlier. The moment you walk out your door, there will be no privacy, okay? There will be no, sneaking around. And no, they're going to know everything, okay, in real time. You got to deal with AI cameras. You got to deal with drones. You got to deal with the police, okay? Ain't no more privacy, bro. And the only how to stop a drone, you got to shoot it out the sky. And then they really going to come for you then. Okay, they're really going to treat you like a terrorist. Okay? Because you're damaging police equipment. But this is where the world is heading to, brothers. Okay? Autonomous police drones, right? To keep you on your best behavior. But moving on here, all right, to my next video. I won't make this too long. This is from PBS News Hours. It says, police say flock cameras help solve crimes, but critics call them an invasion of privacy. And I'm sure all you brothers and sisters out there, for the most part, may have seen these new flock cameras. They're everywhere, okay? They're all over Houston. And everybody's, hey, look, hey, you know what? There have been councils and meetings here in Harris County, right, in Houston, about these flock cameras. And there are people going around Houston actually tearing down these cameras, bro. And the CEO of the flock cameras, right, he's pretty much labeling them terrorists now. And I'll show you that video. But these flock cameras are just aiding the surveillance state, giving Esau the power to watch you 24/7 all the time. Here we go.
Agencies across the country use AI-powered cameras to scan billions of vehicles each month, often without drivers even knowing they're being recorded. Supporters say the technology helps solve crimes. Critics warn its rapid expansion is creating a nationwide surveillance network, raising questions about the balance between public safety and personal privacy. Paul Solman dives into that debate.
A quiet Saturday afternoon last September, Denver resident Chrisanna Elser gets an alert from her doorbell camera. A nearby Columbine Valley police officer has come calling.
You know why I'm here?
No. He pulled out a picture of my truck and accused me of stealing a package.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Police-operated cameras had recorded her driving near the scene of the crime. Only problem, she had nothing to do with it.
They caught me 20 times driving through the neighborhood that we drive through to go to work every day.
Police had simply matched their video with doorbell footage of the theft, showing a blonde, like Elser.
Well, can I see this video?
If you go to court, you can. If you're going to deny it, I'm not going to extend you any courtesy. If you're going to lie to me, I'm not going to extend you any courtesy.
It was shocking to have somebody come in so strong and rely on the digital evidence.
Small black cameras mounted on utility poles began appearing around the neighborhood in 2024. But so what, says Elser?
I took the stance that everybody else takes, that, big deal. It's up there. If I'm not doing anything wrong, then why am I worried about it?
Turns out these cameras extend far beyond Denver. Today, more than 100,000 are installed across all 50 states, according to crowdsourced data from anti-surveillance organizations, the vast majority owned by security tech company Flock Safety.
Let's shape a safer future together.
We build hardware and software that help cities solve crime.
Flock's Josh Thomas says they make other devices to detect gunshots, for instance. But
our bread and butter product is a license plate reader. We are pinpoint focused on the back of a vehicle to identify the make, model, color, the license plate, the state of the license plate,
timestamps, locations. But Flock's AI-powered cameras also record bumper stickers, dents, to match against local and national law enforcement hot lists.
So when there's a wanted person, an outstanding warrant, a hit and run, a missing person, it will add those license plates to the list. So in real time, if one of those vehicles drives by a Flock Safety device, we'll send an alert to local law enforcement.
The data is also stored on a searchable cloud database for 30 days. And so misuse can happen, as with Krisanna Elser, among others documented in local reporting. But it's rare, says Thomas. What's far more common, he says, the technology helps solve crimes.
They're helping solve somewhere between 800,000 to 1 million crimes every calendar year. So roughly about 20 to 25% of all reported crime in America is being solved in some way or another with Flock technology.
You can always take the stories of the worst case.
Well, so pretty much they're justifying these cameras, these Flock cameras, saying it helps solve crimes. Okay, so when there's no crimes going on, what else are you guys surveilling? But as Larry Ellison just said, you're going to be on your best behavior. The police will be on their best behavior, right? Watching you all the time. They tracked that lady down through her license plates, right? And accused her of being a thief. Okay, they came right to her house, man. Put up all her information. That's how, brother, that's how crazy it has gotten. And it's going to get worse, all right? Wait till that MOTB is implemented, bro. You won't be able to do, bro, you won't be able to do nothing, truly, without this devil knowing. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices, of his plans, okay? This is a serious thing, bro. See, it's happening little by little. A lot of people aren't truly like paying attention to it because they just in another world mentally and spiritually being distracted, man. But it's a serious thing, bro. Here we go.
Scenario, but what's unfortunately and doesn't seem to get hit a lot are the stories of the best case scenario.
Todd Chamberlain, chief of police in Aurora, Colorado.
And there are some stories where lives have been changed through the use of this technology.
As in Denver last December.
A woman had put her child, a 14-month-old baby, into her vehicle. She had her car idling. Somebody came along, saw an opportunity to steal that car, and that mother was basically left watching her car drive away with her 14-month-old baby in it.
Flock tracked the car, reunited mother and child.
Thank you guys so much.
Without that Flock technology, we might not have found that or 2 or 3 days later. That technology saved that 14-month-old baby's life.
So on balance, technology for the good? Well, Krisanna Elser, for one, might disagree. And Flock allows search data to be shared with police nationwide, potentially tracking Krisanna Elser's anywhere.
When you have a national database of these cameras that can be queried by law enforcement without a warrant, that qualitatively shifts something about the surveillance.
Joseph Cox is a journalist with 404 Media.
This isn't a small beat local police officer just looking into local crimes necessarily. You can have an officer on the other side of the country search for vehicles on the other side of the country as well.
On behalf of ICE, for example.
And that has clearly worried a lot of people who are now having a conversation about, do we actually want these cameras in our community?
A few weeks ago, using a commercial search engine, I very easily found the administration interfaces for dozens of Flock Safety cameras.
And last December, YouTuber Ben Jordan gained access to over 60 Flock video feeds in cities across the country.
All this is relying on is knowing where exactly to look. And with that, we were able to see just how powerful some of these cameras are.
But Flock's Thomas says the leak was caused by cameras mistakenly configured to be public-facing, rather than private feeds.
We have hundreds of thousands of sensors out in the world. A very, very small number had a public-facing IP address. He did find us. And the second we found us, within 48 hours, all of those were changed.
Which is either reassuring or not.
There are YouTube videos that can teach you how to hack these cameras.
Meanwhile, opposition is growing.
If this
Camera sees you, you will be put on a database alongside every other law-abiding resident of the city.
We are asking for the Flock contract to be terminated in full.
In the past year, dozens of cities have canceled contracts following public backlash. And Flock now says it's willing to talk about how its tech should be regulated.
There's kind of no denying that it has clear benefits to cities. But the question, I think, is a very real one, which is, what's the trade-off we're making in society? Are we comfortable with that level of trade-off? And I think those are fair questions to ask.
Back in Denver, Chrisanna Elser parried the charges against her with
trade your privacy so they can catch criminals, right? Goddamn criminal telling you that he want to catch the criminal. This is a joke, okay? But it's prophecy, man. These Flock cameras, right? You got Palantir. All these people juiced in together, man. It's all about surveillance, bro. They need that mass surveillance to give them their reach, to be able to say, hey, you can't do this. Hey, you can't do that, right? It's only going to get worse, man. The squeeze will only get tighter, right? Now, my last video going to be this here. And then I grab my scripture. This is Tucker Carlson. It says, whistleblower reveals the largest mass surveillance operation in history and the coming slave state is already there. It's already there, bro. But I'm going to play a little bit of this interview that he did with this guy, and then I grab my scripture and close out, man.
So Ben Jordan has thought a lot about this, knows a lot about it, knows a lot of the details about where the data from these cameras are going, which is worth knowing. And he joins us now. Ben, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for the work that you've done on this. So why are you concerned about license plate readers, Flock cameras? I mean, we're told that, look, it's for your safety, okay? And unless you want to be a terrorist, you should probably shut up about it. And there's nothing to be worried about at all if you're not doing something wrong. So I'm not doing anything wrong. Why should I be worried about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be worried about it. One pushback I always get is people saying, I have nothing to hide. And I feel like that is one of the most inaccurate statements ever. When somebody says that to me, I always ask them to hand me their phone and unlock it and let me go into the other room for a while. And just, why? Do you got something illegal on there? Let me look at it. But yeah, anybody who's ever been stalked, who's been falsely accused of a crime, anybody who's ever been hacked, who's had their identity stolen, they all have stuff to hide. And it's when those terrible things happen to you, when you realize, oh, I actually have a lot to hide, and this is really important. As far as the first thing that I always, when I talk to like a police chief or something like that, the first thing I always tell them is that this is a third-party tech startup. They're not even a public company. It's a private company that has venture capital investors, but one of which is on the hook for Cambridge Analytica, by the way. And they have one job, and that job is to make as much money as possible. So they're going to tell you whatever it is that you need to hear to put as many cameras in your community as possible. They're going to tell you that it helps solve crime, that it'll increase your clearance rates. And the fact is that they don't have any evidence of doing any of that.
So the crime thing, it does seem like we tried to find the numbers. Crime stats are complicated, cross-referencing them with what we know about these cameras and where they are. It didn't seem like they certainly had an eliminated crime in like Oakland or Houston or places that have a real problem with crime. But it seems intuitive that like if you spy on everyone all the time, there'll be less crime. Like that doesn't seem like a crazy claim.
Yeah, well, I mean, criminology and sociology are incredibly chaotic. We actually, as a society, don't even know if increasing police reduces crime.
Right.
Like that can go either way depending on what city.
Yes.
One of my favorite studies it was actually on dog ownership. Like, does having a security dog or having a lot of dogs in a neighborhood reduce crime? And it actually did. And the reason was because people walk their dogs. And they walk around and they get to know their neighbors, and they might even get to know their police more, if they have police on foot walking around the neighborhood, and that makes everybody safer. Like the only thing that we truly know that lowers crime is community policing, is people trusting their police officers and saying, hey, there's a gang member that all of a sudden bought a gun. I think something's going to go down. I saw this. They'll have that conversation with their police department, and then they could actually reduce.
Crucial update for people who have been injured in a car accident.
Insurance companies are tricking thousands of
reduce crime and they can prevent victims from happening. So it's not a matter of getting somebody's license plate and then arresting them down the road. You don't have a victim in the first place. And I feel in most of the communities that I've visited, and I'm literally on the road right now visiting communities, talking to city council members and stuff like that. In most of these communities, the public feels like the license plate readers, specifically from Flock, are betraying the relationship that they have with police. They're actually violating that social contract where people expect privacy and they're not being given.
Well, I mean, if surveillance created safety, then prisons would be very safe, but they're very dangerous. So
yes,
I guess that's obvious, right? Now that I think about it.
One thing that the thing that a lot of people also don't think about, one of my favorite analogies, and this is used by the ACLU often, is if you're driving somewhere and a cop pulls behind you at a stoplight, you immediately change the way you behave. You start, you might be really into a song you're listening to. Now you're distracted by the cop. You might be in a conversation. For some reason, the flow of that conversation changes, even if you've done nothing wrong. We all just have that weird feeling where this person who is able to, I don't know, handcuff us, pull us over, write us a ticket, shoot us, whatever they want to do. When that person's behind us and surveilling us and looking in and saying, oh, what's that guy up to? Is he up to no good? We start behaving differently. And so when you put cameras in front of playgrounds, and there's plenty of Flock cameras in front of playgrounds, which is baffling to me. Nobody's saying, hey, doesn't this affect the way kids play? Like when I learned how to do a cartwheel the first time when I was a kid, or when I learned how to play the guitar, I didn't have anybody watching me. I had to be alone to do that. I needed my privacy to be able to find my own identity and find what I'm so good at, which isn't cartwheels, by the way.
It's so really...
Well, yeah, well, you're not going to have that luxury anymore. Okay? Going back to what Larry Ellison said, you will not have that luxury. You will be watched all the time. Okay? And they will guarantee that you will be on your best behavior. If not, they'll come and get you, right? As you saw in the other news clipping. They came right to that woman's house. Even like they found her no problem. Because they got your information. How much more when it turns over digitally to the MOTB? They come to get you instantly, okay? So if you want to finish up all these videos, I just wanted to play them, in pieces. It's a lot of information, man, but this is going to lead ultimately to what? The MOTB. This is how it starts. Mass surveillance, okay? Then they give you a digital ID and digital currencies, and then shit, they want to hack you, right? With the MOTB, ultimately, man. So let me go to what's that? 2 Corinthians. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, of his plans, of his tricks, his counsels. We know where this thing is heading to, okay? But see, it's happening rapidly, but it's little by little, okay? But great changes are taking place, man. These data centers, these Flock cameras, these billionaires buying up all the farmland. I mean, this is happening simultaneously, bro. America and Iran going at it, Russia, Ukraine going at it, right? This is all happening simultaneously, man. The Lord is at work. But see, this devil, he thrives in distractions, right? Like he thrives when people are not paying attention, but people are starting to catch on. This is why all these city councils are happening, right? And it's mainly, older, elderly people at these councils, but it's like old people, because they watch and see what the hell going on. Young people not watching as much. They're too busy on TikTok and social media and trying to get, go to what this shit called? Streaming University, right? That's a new thing now. All these kids want to go to streaming university. It's crazy, man. But I'm gonna close out with that, bro. I just want to cover these videos here, and as I said, you can go and watch them. Especially this interview by Tucker Carlson, man. They cover a lot concerning these flock cameras and just all the surveillance that these Edomites going to come forth with. Okay, this is a serious topic, a serious matter, and some of their brothers and sisters got to consider as you go about your walk, man. That life is changing around you rapidly. Okay, you will see more and more robots, more and more autonomous drones. Okay, more and more strict laws. It's going to get crazy, man. So lock in, do what you got to do. Lord will never edify. I praise you. How about Shema Shai? Shalom.